The markets are getting juicy and we need to talk about it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. And do you know what the farmer found when he opened up the tent that was on his property? It was pigs in a blanket. All right, we're going to take a look at SPY, QQQ. We're also going to take a look at Nvidia and talk about where that could go leading up to earnings, and then what exactly is going on with Tesla, along with some of the economic factors that we want to watch impacting what's going on with the markets. I will tell you later in this video where you can see my buys and sells, about my options course, and about how you can learn to do technical analysis like I do. In the meantime, let's kick things off with trading economics, and we'll take a look at what we have coming up for ourselves. We have total household debt coming up at 11 a.m. That could be a minor catalyst for us. We're going to have to watch on that. Previously coming in at 17.29 trillion. We'll see if that continues to tick up on us. Moving on from there, if we go into next week is where we actually start to see some things besides the Fed speeches that happen throughout this week. So if you go to Trading Economics, click on calendar up at the top. I always set it for US. You can go ahead and you can see when those Fed speeches happen. That's something to be highly impactful, as we know with the way Jerome Powell's been talking recently about the rate cuts out there, or the lack thereof for the rate cuts. That is something that has rattled the markets, kind of shook it quite a bit, and we saw what happened yesterday when the market sort of V'd itself out, but it did quickly recover, and I do think, we'll get over to that, but I do think that there's still some upside left in the markets before we start heading back down. So let's move on from there, and what I want to look at is Tuesday, the day before Valentine's Day, February the 13th, CPI inflation. So besides the Fed speeches, this is the next major catalyst, in my opinion, for the economic reports that are coming out. So we would be watching for that, and what we want is this core number to hopefully come in at 0.2 instead of 0.3. That'd be a major upward pressure, in my opinion, for the markets as we watch that come out. So CPI, 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday the 13th, and then not Wednesday, and then not Thursday, although we do get retail sales. Jobless claims are also going to be important there. But we actually have to go out to Friday, where not only do we get PPI, which is the next inflation measure, but then we also at 10 a.m. get Michigan consumer sentiment, which I think will be a nice trading opportunity for us throughout the day to watch that happen. We'll see if that's something that continues to improve for us over time. The last rating coming in pretty healthfully at 79. We'll see if that continues to climb on us and that consumer sentiment continues to improve. So that's what we have to look at on the economic calendar. And then let's move over from there. Let me put up the charts for this. So here we are looking at SPY, tracking the S&P 500. And I do think that there is a line up to $500 per share for SPY. Now, mind you, in the S&P itself, we're about 1% away from the 5,000 mark. We're about 1.5% away from getting up to here. Maybe a little bit less than 1.5% to get up to 500 for SPY. And I do think that we have a path to get there. We're going to have to keep an eye on earnings. I think earnings are going to continue to be strong, as we've heard positive reports so far. And right now, there's not a big sign of that turning around. So I think for SPY, we're going to make it up to 500 before we start to hit really significant resistance. And I think that this little minor trend line that we have here at about 495 is going to get broken. So moving over to QQQ, we have historic resistance, and we also have round number resist right at about 430. We're going to have to see if we can push through that. I believe that we can. Up above that is 435 that we want to be watching for. Now, we have to be careful here because big tech has been a major contributor to QQQ's price action. And so they have been moving incredibly, besides Tesla kind of lagging the Magnificent Seven. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But this is one that we want to be watching for. We could possibly make it up to that 435. We're going to have to see as the rest of the earnings play out for the NASDAQ 100, but I think 435 is most definitely in the cards for us if we can break over 430. Now, mind you, if we easily make it up to 435, we might even have a little bit of gas left in the tank to make it up to 440, but the higher we go up this thing, the more tenuous that it gets before we have some sort of pullback or correction, and we have two different trend lines to return back down to besides some other resistances that we have historically and for round numbers and some other supports that we have as well. So we're going to be watching for that. So let's move on to Nvidia. Now, Nvidia, I think, could cap out at 750. I think that not only is that a Fibonacci value that we have, but I think also that round number that we have leading up to earnings, I think we could run up to 750, and then following earnings, then we could sell back to 700. If 700 ends up being about where we find resistance for now, prior to earnings, then we can pull back all the way down to 635 leading up to earnings, which gives us some upside as those earnings come out. Now, if you guys want to see my Nvidia stock price prediction and earnings projection, that is available over at the Patreon, and that link is down in the description. I will be putting up the updated version of that today in the Patreon, so be on the lookout for that one. It's taken me a little bit longer than expected, but I think the numbers are the best that I can offer and the best that you're going to find out there leading up to the Nvidia earnings on February the 21st. So check those out, especially if we get that pullback for Nvidia stock price prior to those earnings. Then I think that creates a significant opportunity, and I'm very excited to share those numbers with everybody who's already a member of the Patreon, who's over in the Discord and chats it up over there about Nvidia, and I think that you guys will also enjoy it as well. I also have an options course over at the Patreon. That link is down in the description for that. I'm adding to it over time. Put options are coming up next. I'm going to start adding on to that so you can start to hear not only from complete beginner, what are options, what can you do with options, why even bother with options, but then also getting more into the actual application side of options as well. And if you guys want to learn to do technical analysis like I do, learn how to benefit in the markets, you can do that by using the link down in the description. Use the coupon code TRADE for massive discounts, massive savings on that one. With that said, let's pop back over here and let's bring up Tesla, because for Tesla, they sold down to 175. Over in the Discord, they said, what do we have for support? I said below 182. We have 175. We came down to 175 yesterday in the market, smooched it, had a double bottom and bounced right back up. So if we go to the hourly version of this, there we go. You can see where we bottomed out at 175, rallied all the way back up to about 182. Now in the pre-market hours this morning, we're rocking at about 178. So we want to be on the lookout for Tesla to break down through what we have at about 178, maybe revisit 175. Should we revisit 175? We actually have room down below that. I think that 165, 167, those two values, somewhere in there is where we find the really strong, sturdy support that's going to allow us that good, strong bounce back to the upside for Tesla. Now, mind you, sentiment on EVs, Tesla itself right now is down, and that's why we see what we do. And even Elon in the earnings call said that they're between S-curves right now, so we're looking for what that next major growth catalyst is for Tesla. And that I can assure you that when it is found and when it is announced, that's something that's going to be a huge catalyst for Tesla, and it's going to be significantly to the upside. So this is a company that I would say their stock price is down, but the company itself is not out, and it's what keeps me dollar cost averaging over time for Tesla, especially as we start to hit these numbers down below 200. And the lower we go on this, the more bullish it makes me for the long term for Tesla. And if you want to see my Tesla stock price prediction, earnings projection, that is available over at the Patreon as well. I'll be updating those numbers also following the update for Nvidia. So thank you guys for watching this. Go ahead and check out down in the description that link for the Patreon. Come over and see my buys and sells. Check out the options course that's over there. Check out the Nvidia stock price prediction when I drop it, and then also the Tesla stock price prediction, earnings projection as I update that for the next quarter. And we're going to go ahead and check that out and see what exactly I'm so excited about for Tesla, for Nvidia. And then if you want to, like I said, do technical analysis like I do, you can learn more about it and learn how to benefit from it. The bread recipe, that link for that technical analysis trading course, also down in the description. Coupon code TRADE, trade for massive savings, massive discounts. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.